Hey, hey, hey. How are you? We are officially live. Let's see here. I see you all. Come on in and say good morning. Hey, Adrienne, how are you? Let me make sure I'm live in the group and on YouTube. I am live. Welcome to our 90-day check-in. Hey, Daniela, how are you, love? All right, let's
Welcome
see.
to our
There we
90-day
go.
check-in. Hey, Daniela, how are you?
We are live on YouTube. And let me cut that down. Good morning. All right.
Good morning.
There we go. All right. My hair is poofy today, but she's gonna just have to be what she is.
Good morning.
There we go. All right. My hair. All right. So how y'all doing? I see you all coming in. Let me sit in my little chair. Today is pretty informal. I'm not going to knock everything over. But I really just wanted to check in and I'm good. I'm good, Adrienne. Let's see here. Here we go. Just want to make sure I could see y'all in the group because if you're watching on YouTube and if you're watching in the group, say, hey girl, hey, let me know you're here. Hey boo, hey. Hair is looking weird, but we'll just leave it. I'm well, I oh, you know what else I need? I gotta get my hi Melanie. My everything is dropping out of here. My infamous 21 days of prayer binder. Because I want to do some recaps of some things that we experienced, but I really wanted to check in, see how everybody is doing. I wanted to check in and see what you're up to. I've been monitoring the time and I had decided that I wanted to do a 90-day check-in simply because, good morning, I wanted to make sure.
90-day check-in simply because.
Turn this down. Hey, Natalie, how are you? Hey, Lene, how are you? I wanted to do a 90-day check-in because we had such a powerful experience. And sometimes like 30 days, we're still like, we're in it. 60 days, it's like, okay, this is good. And then 90 days, it's kind of like, ooh, like, I don't know, like how I'm feeling. Like I was good in January, but 90 days out, I'm like, I'm feeling some kind of way. And so I wanted to really just have conversation to see, hey cousin, how are you? Just to see how you all are feeling. I know some of you are in the inner circle, some of you are not. And so for those of you who are in the inner circle, have you taken advantage of watching the replays of 21 Days of Prayer? And I will say this, not only in regards to 21 Days of Prayer, but I'm learning this for myself. I was just, talking to my cousin Aisha. We talk very often and telling her around, the fact of just going back and looking at some of the trainings, like even today's Saturday win in the group. If you're in the I Speak Life Society, every Saturday I do a small win Saturday. And it really is just like, what are the wins that you experienced this week? And I think it's important for us to have those conversations because I think we go through life so quickly that we forget to like pause and celebrate like what happened this week. And so for those of you who are here, I will ask you this question and I'd love for you to respond, in the comments. What are your wins for this week? Like what's one win that you have for this week? We got to get into the habit of a new habit and creating, a a space where we could sit, and that really, I didn't mean to talk about it now, but I will talk about it. It goes into the masterclass that I'm holding on Monday called Pause, where, we're creating time for reflection, for rest, reset, reflection, for a refill and a refuel. And so, what are your wins for this week? Like, what's one win? I want to know in the comments. I want you to share that. What's your one win for this week? And so for me, and this ties into what I was saying initially about going back, and if you're in the inner circle and having access to the replays, is I have access to so many different trainings that I purchased. I'm a part of another membership of somebody else's, and it was thinking to myself, there were some things that I was challenged with. And I was like, you know what? I probably have access to something in all this stuff that I've been buying, and really haven't taken the time to go back and to listen to it. And even when we're doing our monthly trainings for the inner circle, I tell them, specifically if you're live, go back and listen to it again. Like, there's some stuff that you got to listen to multiple times. And every time, sometimes you'll get a different revelation. You'll get a different nugget. You'll get more clarity. And so be intentional, not just with 21 days of prayer, but with everything that you're doing. If you're taking trainings, if you're reading a book, if you're studying the Bible, right? Making sure that you're reading it just more than once, because sometimes like, oh, well, I read that. It was great, but what are the nuggets? What are the takeaways? And so if you're not in the inner circle, I would love for you to be a part of the inner circle, not just so that you could have access to 21 days of prayer, but sometimes you need to be in community with somebody who can hold you accountable and who can call you out on some stuff. And also just to help you think about things from a different vantage point, right? And so I have my notebook here. And so hopefully you have taken some time to go through your notes if you're not a part of the inner circle. And this is why I brought my journal, because my reflection journal, because I wanted to take some time just to kind of go through and revisit some of the stuff I've watched, but I haven't come back to rewrite in my reflection notes. But I wanted to just kind of do a check-in. And so how have you been? So I've already asked you a couple of questions. And I do, depending upon where you are and what you're doing. I know Melanie says she started and she fell off and she got to go back. And so is that in regards to 21 days of prayer in the inner circle, Melanie? I'm good, Lene. I'm looking at your comments down here because they don't always, I like to look at the names when they pop up, and they don't always pop up in StreamYard. So what I can say is that God is moving. Like, I'll start with me, right? And so, and you all don't get quiet. I'm asking that question intentionally. And the reason why it's probably taking you so long to answer the question in regards to the small win, and you can, and when you finish doing that, go and put it in the Facebook group if you're part of the Facebook group around the small win Saturday, because I want to know your wins. I think it's important for us to celebrate our wins. Hey, Farah, how are you? Hey, girl. Hey. Yeah, so you might not be able to do a whole lot while working. And so if some of you are working or driving, that's okay. But, I'd love for you all to answer that question. What's one win for this week? What's your win? And so I shared mine. Mine was that I took some time last week, and this week I've actually been really doing a deep dive into a program that I purchased a while ago, to actually a membership. But then there was a program that the coach, I should say my coach, she did. And so we get access to it. And I went back and I've been listening to it, and I've been doing the work. And that's a win for me, because I have access to so much information that I've had to do my own pauses. Like the stuff that I'm telling y'all to do, I had to take my own pauses, and I had to pull back a little bit and recalibrate, because I'm like, there's some gaps in my business, and I need to kind of fill those gaps. And so I've been doing that. I've also been even filling gaps spiritually, where I know God is pulling on me at a greater and deeper level. And so I've been trying to be a lot more intentional. And I didn't write this in the small win Saturday post, but I've been intentional with really trying to spend more time and deeper time with him, and even stretching myself in regards to what my study time with him and my quiet time looks like. So Melanie says, I had a ton of free time, then all of a sudden life sped up. Yes. And it will, like it will. And we can make those adjustments, and and life happens, right? Like it'll be like, oh, I got this, and then all of a sudden, um, it was just like, where did the time go? Like I thought I had more time. Like now I gotta kind of figure things out. And that's okay. Like you'll have those highs and lows. You'll have lots of time and then little time. And I think that's why we do the co-working, right? So for those of you who are not a part of the inner circle, every fourth Tuesday, we do a co-working session where it's a live working session where you get an opportunity to kind of look at your life for the last 30 days and then the next 30 days and kind of figure out what that looks like for you. And this is why we do this every month, because sometimes life happens and then you get off course and then you need something to bring you back on course so that you can actually spend time, right, doing that. So Natalie says hers was, I fasted yesterday and spent time reflecting, praying, and reading. I haven't done that in a long time. I felt well rested. I love that. And I know that that's something that you talked about wanting to do. So I'm glad that you actually took quick, fast action. And yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Natalie also says, I've been more intentional about my mindset, my finances, and knowing what season I am in since 21 days of prayer. Good, good, good. Farrah says, my win was following through. Honey, that's a big win, child. Because listen, we can drop some stuff in a quick minute. And sometimes we're so quick with dropping stuff that we be like, oh, I'll pick it back up later. So I love that for you. Adrian says, I really have no time for me, but next week I'm going on a little vacation for 5 days. Honey, you better take it all in. I hope it's somewhere warm so you can get some sun for all of us. You hear me? I love that. Hey, Nakia, how are you, love? And so, this is, just, our reflection time and really just having some time to think about like, because sometimes the focus is all on what we didn't do, what we didn't accomplish, how we didn't, right? And sometimes we have to say, okay, maybe I didn't get all the things done, but I got some things done. There's some things that I can celebrate this week. Like what about me can I celebrate this week? Yes, this week wasn't perfect. As a matter of fact, this week was horrible, but there's something that I can celebrate. And so I want us to be able to do that, right? Daniela says, my win was being intentional about spending time with God. I love that. Yes, we have to be intentional with that. You know why? Because life be life, and y'all, and we can be so focused on just sometimes getting the things of God done, right? Nakia, listen, can we get in the suitcase? Hi, Evangeline, how are you? It's so good to see you. Not see you, but see you. It's been such a long time. And so you're right. Like we get so caught up in just lifing, and even sometimes in ministry, right? We're doing the work of the Father. We're doing what he called us to do, and doing what he's called us to do is not necessarily spending time with him, being intentional with just time, right? It's kind of like being in a relationship and you're so busy, so busy just kind of like doing the couple thing, right? Paying the bills, doing this and doing that, that there's no, it's like a routine. You go to work, you come home, all the things, but there's no like us time where you just sit down and, sit in each other's presence and really talk intentionally and checking in, like, how are you? Like, how you been? Like, what's going on with you? How are you feeling? Like, those are those moments that we need with God, where we can check in with him, he can check in with us. And it's not about doing, right? It's not about ministry. It's not about, ministering to his people, which is, great. Serving his people is great. But I love, when we can take some time, right? And just be with him. And so I love that for you, Danietta. And so while you guys are coming in, I see you, Tamala, Nakia, Evangeline. Hey, Cassandra. I'm just talking about, I'm talking about a lot, really, but I asked you guys to share here what's your one win. And so if you're in the Facebook group, every Saturday I share a small win post. What are your small wins? And really is to reflect on the things that we did accomplish. A lot of times we get to the end of the week only focused on, either how stressful the week was, all the things that we had to do this week, the stuff that we didn't like. I didn't got to the end of the week and it's stuff that I still didn't even get a chance to do. Oh, well, right. But what can you celebrate? And so I'd love for you to share in the comments as well as in the Saturday post, because I think it's important for you to take the time. There's something to be said for you to take the time to think about your win and then post it in the group, because that means that you're pausing for a moment. It means that you're pausing for a moment, right? And so, which again, y'all have seen me post, and maybe you haven't because Facebook is kind of weird, but I'm having a masterclass on Monday called Pause. And it's about regaining your clarity, rediscovering yourself, and reconnecting with God. And most of you who have either been with me since eternity, you know that I'm big on quiet time. And so this is kind of like an updated version around that, because it's not just around, the initial training was around quiet time and hearing from God. And this training is an addendum to that, around what does it look like for you to spend time with yourself, right? And with God, right? How do we, because they're two separate things. And so I won't talk all about that now, but I will put the link in here so that you can have access to it and so that you can register if you have not registered for it. But if you're in my inner circle, you get 15% off. That code I text to you or it's an email, so you can have access to that. But what I will say is, make sure that you are celebrating your wins. Hey, Adri, how are you? I'm celebrating that God, my Father, is intentional about us. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. And he is intentional about us. Like, so intentional that it's, did this thing shift? I feel like it shifted. Oh, it did. It came out the thing. I was wondering what was going on, but he's extremely intentional with us. Hey, Amor. How are you? Is that okay? Wait, I got to try to remember your name. Amor's last is that Charnay? I be trying to remember because I haven't seen you in a minute. It's either Charnay or Ida, and if I mess both of those up, just tell me your name. Put your name down in there, because I be always trying to. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Melanie says, let me see here. She says, I sat down Sunday and poured out to God through journaling on helping me to dig deeper within on every level. Stop being superficial and digging deeper with the Most High's guidance. Yes. Child. And guess what? Guess what? Okay, which one is it? Amor, is it Charnay? I think it's Charnay. And I think that, so can we talk about that? So, right. So 21, I think 21 days of prayer. And so this is really a check-in, right? Because we're 90 days out. And I'm really checking in just to see where you are, how God is moving. If you are a part of good, okay. See, I'm doing good. Come on, Charnay. I remember names. Okay. So it's like, we're 90 days out, and God spoke heavily to us in those 90 days. And so prayerfully, you took notes if you're not a part of the inner circle, and because you have access to those replays in the inner circle. And if you weren't a part of 21 days of prayer, I'm glad you're here anyway, right? And then I think, and so while we're in, and I'm going to get into 21 days of prayer, but really this started me on this conversation around your wins. I wanted just to know what your wins were for the week, but also just around the idea of, it's been 90 days. At what point have you checked in on 21 days of prayer and what God has spoken to you and the promises that he spoke, and confirming his word and going back to him on his word? Like, not just sitting in the experience and taking it all in, kind of like, you just sitting and just letting somebody feed you, but at what point are you holding God to his word? At what point are you calling him out and saying, God, I remember you saying this. I remember this is what you said on day 15 or on day 16. And so, like, how are you praying it? How are you, like, we're full throttle. And it's so weird because for me personally, I had to check myself because I had gotten a little down, and not even having anything to do with 21 days of prayer. But I had to remember that this is my season of full throttle. And I had to remind myself, like, we're not doing this, D. Girl. Like, I had to say that to myself, girl. We're not doing this. Let's recalibrate, right? Remember we talked like resist, like there's so many different things that we talked about. Hey Janaya, how are you, love? And it's like, where are you on this 90-day journey? So while you all are coming in, I see you all coming in. Um, what we're talking about right now, I just want you to share your win for the week. I want you to share your win for the week. Let me just go back and make sure that I'm not missing anybody. What's your win for the week? I want to know. Natalie says, I don't realize I'm tired until I fall asleep and I'm knocked out for hours. Outdoor track season seems more busy than indoor. The weather isn't helping either. I feel like I'm the one running. Yeah. And so, that whole mom life is a lot, right? That whole mom life is tricky, especially, when we are vested, in our kids' development, when we're vested in what we want our kid, how we want our kids to grow up to be, you know what I mean? And just, making sure that we're not, the word I want to say is not say short step, but I'm going to use that. Short stepping them, you know what I'm saying? And so even in those spaces, I think it's important for you, and we can talk more about this in the incubator. But I think it's important for you to look at your schedule and also be intentional around also not necessarily scheduling your life around those, but looking at that, like, so we're kind of like, we still have a little bit more of April to go, but and this is for anybody else, right? But when you're looking at your schedule in May and his track schedule and that it's an all day thing, how can you be more intentional about how you schedule your time, how you schedule your work, how you schedule your writing, all that kind of stuff around, like, so when we know I've taught this in my Get Your Time Back, which I'm probably going to do next month. But looking at your schedule, and a lot of times when I always look and see when I have busy seasons. Like, I know, like, there used to be a time in my life where I think it was like third week of the month, I had like meetings. I had like, it was always something. And so I was very intentional about making sure that as I eased into that week, I knew what I was planning. I knew kind of how, not necessarily how I wanted my life to look, but I was intentional and aware of what that looked like. So because it's a lot, right? I give myself grace and space going in and coming out. Does that make sense for any of you? And does that make sense for you, Natalie? But we could talk more about that in the incubator. And so let me see here. Hey, Ro, how are you? I had an experience with him on Wednesday, or I have a waiting for him to speak in Wednesday, the day. And I had to make a decision. He spoke to a man that I didn't even know, came up to me and said, the Lord said to wait on you. He is on time. Wow. I love that. I love how he literally can speak a word through anybody. Like, and I think somebody was saying this. I think I was watching somebody, and I really wasn't watching, I was listening as I was scrolling, and I happened to hap on somebody's live. And it was like by accident. And one of the things that she was talking about is be mindful, because God can speak to you through anybody. And a lot of times we might minimize. And then I think there was another conversation that I was a part of. Child, be listening to so much, y'all. And or in places where conversations are happening, and it's like happening. And sometimes, we'll be looking at somebody, or somebody doesn't look like, right, the person who God can use to speak to us, and they can say something and you'd be like, Lord, you know what? Did you? And right, and we can get what he wants, right? He'll send a word through anyone. And I love how he's so intentional about us in that area, right? Where it don't always have to be who you think is going to come from, right? And let's just say, like, it may not always come through me, where you like, oh, I know Detra got a word for me, and it's like, oh, child, I'm looking for a word for myself. Okay. But like familiar spaces, right, where it can come from anybody. Evangeline says, my win is daily consistency in doing my writing gratitude practice. I love that, child. Gratitude. again, either reading, writing, or listening to something, and they were saying how gratitude actually has a way of shifting your, and I don't know all about like the science terms, but like your, I'll just call them your endorphins, and it might be some other area of the body, but it basically deals with your emotion. And so like it basically says like anytime you sit in gratitude for a certain amount of time, your mood changes. Like you can't sit and sat in gratitude and be sad. At some point your mood shifts. And it's helpful because it kind of shifts the sadness to joy, right? And so I love that you're doing that because and I think that that's indicative of my book 30 Days of Thanks, where God took me through 30 days of being thankful in a really tough time, right? In a really really tough time. And like you can't help but be grateful. You can't help but start seeing the good. You can't help but start recognizing that though it might be bad, it could be worse. That you can't help but recognize that God is with you and that He has not left you and He has not forsaken you. Like when you're in gratitude, and I would encourage you, if you all are not doing, maybe do a daily gratitude practice, right? Wake up in the morning and before you go to bed, like what are you grateful for before you start your day? What are you grateful for at the end of the day, right? So good. Let me see. I'm looking at all of your posts. Charnay says this season is most definitely intentional. Being intentional with yourself, time, eating, and people you surround yourself by. Yes, yes, yes. Just yesterday, last night. And so those of you who are local, I'm gonna be part of an amazing event hosted by our own Farah Macklin called Tea Worth Spilling, Ephesians 4:29. And so last night we just kind of did it was kind of like an intro to meet the speakers type of thing. And one of the things that Alicia Parker, who's one of the speakers, talked about is being intentional, not only just with how you take care of your body, but what you put in your body. And a lot of times, the stuff that we go through is not spiritual, it's because you're greedy. Child, is not spiritual at all. Don't have nothing to do. The demons is not getting you. Child, ain't nobody coming. You just don't know how to. You have to change your palate. You got to change your palate. You got to stop eating all them ribs, child. You only have ribs every once in a while. You got to and she was saying like people are it's May 21st. It's May 21st. It's May 21st, and I don't know that I can in here. I don't think I can put images in here, but what I will do is on both pages, I will share the link to the event. Let me come to here for a second. But yes, child, we greedy. We are greedy. You know what I'm saying? And so because we're greedy with a T, she was saying that people are dying before their time. And so for me, I'm always praying, even over myself and over people, that it's not on Facebook, Adrian. I'm gonna put the link also on YouTube as well. It's a live event, it's an in-person event at Elam Christian Fellowship. And so, yeah, she said life and death is in the power of the tongue, right? Which includes your taste buds. She says, as I'm making breakfast. And here, y'all know I'm all about moderation, right? And so I am not trying to make y'all go raw vegan today, right? Like, but I think, and I've talked about this with my inner circle, and I'm probably going to incorporate it in my incubator as well. But once a week or once a month, we're going to start fasting intentionally. And I fast on my own anyway, sometimes multiple times a day. I mean, multiple times a week, at least once a week. And sometimes I'll wake up and the Lord will be like, okay, we fasting today. And I'm like, all right, well, there goes my bacon that I was getting ready to eat. But I think, we have to be intentional about even what we put in our bodies, right? And what we're eating. And I'll just use this as an example. And I've been really convicted about it, and convicted / conflicted because, I did a 3-day fast maybe a couple months ago. And the 3-day fast that I had was a different 3-day fast. I actually did 3 days from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then after that, I only did raw vegetables, fruits and vegetables. First time I had ever done that. Now I've done a 3-day dry fast where I don't eat anything for 3 days. But this time I had just done fruits and vegetables. And when I tell you, when I went back to eating regular food, it messed me up Can I be honest? Like it messed me up. And it messed me up because my body, I think as I'm getting older, my body is a lot more sensitive to what I'm putting into it, or maybe I'm just paying attention to it. I don't know. But I've been noticing like how like I've had to ease into, and so like I'm eating more, and I'm not a big beef or pork eater, but I love bacon. There's a specific breakfast sausage that I really love, but I cook a lot of chicken. We eat shrimp, and like I just, and so it says, well, I just said I want to do a 3-day fruit and veggie fast. Thank you for sharing that. You're welcome. Yeah. And so what I will say, and I'm not looking at the comments really quickly, y'all give me 1 second, let me get my thoughts together, because I want to find the link to Farrah's event, so you all can see that. And then I'm also going to post a link to, let me see, can I copy this? I think I can. And then I post a link to the pause masterclass for Sunday, because I want to invite you, and you all should be there. Not on Sunday, Monday. It's at Hey Girl, Hey, Better Late Than Never. I finally figured it out. Good. I don't know who that is, but hey. Oh, that's Heather. Hey, Heather. All right. So I'm back in here, and then I'm going to share this on YouTube as well. Y'all give me 1 second. Keep sharing your comments. And those of you who are just coming in, we're just talking about wins. Like, what's one win for this week that you had? I want to know your one win. And we've actually been talking about 21 days of prayer. Let me see here. Okay, let me put this in the chat as well. All right, let's see. Oh, and those of you who are local, I'm preaching tomorrow, just in case you want to come. We're in the gallery. I always forget to tell y'all, child. So there you go. I'm preaching tomorrow at my church. I don't be thinking. And so I just, I be preaching, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I preached. They'd be like, well, why you didn't tell me? Because I forgot. So I'm preaching at my church. So I put that in there so you all have access to that. And then I'm going to put in give me another second, the pause masterclass. It's $97 for the pause masterclass. You get access to the replay. But for some of you, if the pause has been something that you've been challenged with, specifically since we've been having since the 90 days between now and 21 days of prayer, I want to invite you to come. Let's see, it's called Pause 2.0. I did it last month, and I wanted to do it again because I felt like there were some people who missed it and weren't able to come. So I put both of those links are in the group and on Facebook. And so let me go back to the Facebook group so I can see names of the peoples. And all right, let's see here. No, it's in Buffalo, Natalie. It's at Elam. She's like, in Rochester. Says, I agree though. The food we eat makes such a difference. I am slowly getting back to no meat and less meat. Naisha says, so very true. Natalie says, especially now, because I have no idea what they're doing to our food. Everything is so huge, and I don't think chicken breast should be that big. Okay, so that was Natalie talking about the 3-day veggies, fruits and veggies. Yeah, I can't eat a lot of things that I used to. Okay. All right, we got caught up. Okay. So yes, so let's see here. Somebody just posted a win. Tamla said a win for me is becoming totally debt free. Come on, girl. Yes. Come on, debt free. I was watching John Hannah the other day. I gotta find my journal, and he had some. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get my journal because I want to share these with y'all. I love that. Come on, debt free. Let me see if I can find them. I wrote them all down. And he was at the Mantle Conference. Yes. He talked about being a person of authority, power, honor, and wealth. And he says, he says he used to declare this over himself. I will be 100% debt free in my life. And I wrote, in my life, business, and ministry. I don't want to owe anyone anything. I pay cash for everything. I have a cash anointing. I am a sponsor for the kingdom. Whatever the kingdom and the church needs, I will have it. I live in overflow. My student loans are being erased. I have a millionaire's anointing. I am trusted with millions. God gave me the wisdom on how. Oh, I said, God, give me the wisdom on how to stack my money. I lack nothing. My calendar is full. I will have options. My name is being mentioned in rooms I have yet to step in. And I say that often anyway. The plunder is here. Keys are being handed to me. Grants are being released. I think I wrote that on my own. I have complete access. I lack nothing. Again, the earth will yield what belongs to me. The enemy is being defeated and my plunder is being released. And so I wrote all of those because I was like, listen, and this is the other part, is what are you saying every day? So like, part of 21 days of prayer wasn't just for us to be able to, it wasn't just for us to come together and hear God speak, but again, what are you speaking over yourself? Right. We talked about fear. We talked about like not letting fear stop us. We talked about, let me see. A win for me is getting a job interview let me see. I'm looking at these for this upcoming Monday. Come on. We decree and declare that the job is yours. If it's yours, if it's got your name on it, it's yours. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I love it. That's been my prayer. God, give me wisdom with my money. I've unsubscribed to all these sales emails. Child, listen, they be trying to get you. They be trying to get you. Right. So congratulations. You all say congratulations to Heather. Let's see here. Those of you, I see some people watching on YouTube. Say, hey, girl. Hey, I just see right now. Hey, Miss D, how are you? How are you, my love? Let's see who else is here. Melanie, Adrian, Miss D. But if there are others and you're watching, say, hey, girl. Hey, so I can see you. And say, hey, girl. Hey. I love, love, love that. Yeah. So I love all of these. So if you guys, if anybody else has wins, my win for this week is moving out from a negative ex-boyfriend. Come on. Come on. I love it. Come on, moving on. Listen, come on, healing. Listen, come on, peace. Listen. I love it. Listen, they saying congratulations to you on YouTube. I love it. Hey, Adrienne, how are you? Yes. Come on, freedom. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I love it. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? So yeah, I don't know that I'll do this every Saturday, but maybe I'll do this once a month because I do like the idea of calling y'all to celebrate your wins, and maybe this will prompt you to answer because most of you may or may not see the wins, the win post in Facebook. I'm just looking at the post down here. I'm sorry. Hey, Daisha, how are you, love? You may not see the post, which is why I normally will like tag the at everyone for that, because I want everyone to see it. But at least now you get a chance to see what I'm looking for when I'm asking, what are your, what's one small win you have for the week? Because that's important. It's important to celebrate yourself. And more importantly, y'all feel this energy. It's important for you to be celebrated by your sisters, but also to celebrate your sisters. And so I want you all to be intentional about sharing your wins, about share. And it, again, it can be small, it can be big. Like a small win could be huge to somebody else, small to you, but huge to somebody else, or maybe huge to you and small. It don't matter how big or small it may be for one person. The reality is that it's your win and you get to celebrate it, right? Every single week you should be like, what's your win, right? And you might have multiple wins, but you got to have at least one. You know what I'm saying? You got to have at least one. So as y'all are coming in, share your wins. And in the midst of that, we're going to transition into 21 days of prayer. And I'll ask this question. Like, where are you? Where have you been? How have you been since we ended 90 days ago? Like, so this is a 90-day check-in of 21 days of prayer. We had a powerful encounter. God is moving. I've received multiple prophetic words. Just one most recently, I think on Thursday, I was in a clubhouse room. And I got another prophetic word, and it was really a confirmation to some of the stuff that I had been going through. And I was like, okay, Lord, I get it. I thank you, right, for letting me know what's really going on. And so Cheryl says, my win is to be the change I want to see. I love it. I love it. Keep being that change. And so my question to you is how have you been since 90 days, since 21 days of prayer? Like, what's been like those? And so let me ask this question. Those of you who are viewing, type of one if you were a part of 21 days of prayer, because there's some names here that I don't remember seeing, but that doesn't mean that you weren't watching. Type of one if you participated in 21 days of prayer in the comments. Okay. So Adrian, Miss D. Let's see here. Janaya, Tamala, Natalie, Daisha, Heather, Farah, Naisha, Cheryl. Okay, so Adriana. Okay, so it's a lot of y'all that were here for 21 days of prayer. I don't think there's anyone who, okay, so let me ask it, put a 2 if you did not participate in 21 days of prayer. Like, you're like, what is 21 days of prayer? Like, I seen it, but I wasn't a part of it. Put a 2 if you did not participate in 21 days of prayer. And while you're doing that, I want to talk to you about, where are you since 21 days of prayer? So answer me that question. Where are you? What has God been saying? What have you been doing? What does full throttle look like you in this season? Have you fell off the wagon? Where are you? Like, what's good? I want to talk. I want to do a check-in and see where you are. So it looks like everybody, just about everybody that's here. There might be somebody who may come in, and again, I haven't acknowledged this, but if you're like 42 minutes into the video on the replay, hit hashtag replay so that we know that you are here. But like, what has life been like on the other side of 21 days of prayer for you? I want to know. I want to know. I will tell you all, life on the other side of 21 days of prayer looks like consistency. It looks like holding fast to the word of God for me. It looks like going back into the 21 days of prayer recordings and listening to them, and being reminded of what God spoke to me, and what the instructions were, and how to move, in certain spaces. And so, what has God been saying to you, and what does life look like for you on the other side of 21 days of prayer? I want to know. Okay, Natalie says a little roller coaster, right, child? You be holding on like, ah. But I'm good now. I realized yesterday while journaling that I'm currently living prayers I've answered. Okay, so can we pause there for a moment? How many of you are in a space where you are in living what you prayed, right? Like, it may not be perfect, it may not be everything, but like, you look back and you be like, I prayed for this. Like, I prayed for this, right? I love that. Let me see here. It says, I'm currently, let's see, I've continued to release a lot of things and people. God has shown me a lot, but I'm grateful for it all. I feel like now he's saying, gone, girl, it's time to work. I had residue that had to be released, and it is. I love that. That's that word again, release. And that's your word, Natalie. So there's that word again, release, right? And I feel like release is cyclical. Like, we're always releasing something. We always got to let some stuff go. Let's see, who is this? Janaya saying, this is my God don't play about me season. Everything I want is coming to me. Ooh, I love that. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. I should be putting these up here so y'all can see them. I haven't been putting them up there, but I be child. I love, love, love that. Love it. And that's Janaya. I love it. Adrian says, God has been dealing with me. I had to move from one church to a new church. Child, he'll do it. He'll do it. You know, sometimes where you are is not where you need to be. And sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the people. It just, your season is up. And so I'm grateful that you obeyed. I'm grateful that you listened, and prayerfully you're getting what you need. Let's see, who's this? This is Daisha. Spending more time in God's word, believing his word over my life, trusting myself and my decisions, able to keep moving forward. I love, love, love that. Yes, that's all been so good for you, Daisha. I love that. I love it. Yes. Yes. Living the fruit of the prayers. Isn't that good, Heather? Like, because sometimes, and this is why it's so good for us to take time to have the practice of gratitude and thanksgiving, right? The practice of identifying small wins, because sometimes you really are in you're in a portion of a season that you prayed for, right? And so it may not be perfect, but you're like, I prayed for this. I prayed for this experience. I prayed, like, I'm looking for something else, but we're right where I am now. I prayed for this very moment. You know what I'm saying? Let me see here. Ms. Z says, there's been an emotional stall in relationships, but God has been blessing me in the area of my expertise in theater by being invited to do a podcast and the show I'm in, Open Thursday. Oh, I love it. Congratulations. Y'all love on Ms. Z. She's in on YouTube, but still love, love, love on her. Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on the podcast. Congratulations on all the things as it relates to, you know, your expertise in theater, and praying that God would, you know, would give you peace during this emotional stall in relationships. My prayer is that he will open your eyes and your ears to be able to hear and to see maybe what you're missing, because emotionally your heart is so attached to a thing. And that you would be open, right, to whatever like he has for you in this space. He might be stalling you, right? Y'all remember this whole like full throttle, stop stalling. If God is stalling you, then don't push it, right? It's one thing for us, and I don't even know we talked about that. That's a whole nother like conversation. What happens when it's not you stalling, it's God stalling, right? And so if God is saying stop stalling, then you keep pushing. But when God said, when there's a stall and you know it's not you, then you got to have wisdom enough to be able to say, okay, God, this is not me. I don't know what's going on, but I trust you, right? And so I pray that you rest and you have peace in this season of stalling, as God starts to reveal some things and maybe drop some things off of you that can't go with you moving forward. Yes and amen. Let's see, who's this? Tamala says, life on the other side of 21 days of prayer has been full of clarity. It's been peaceful, using wisdom, leaning more in and on God's timing for everything in my life. I love, y'all know I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Who is this? I am. Natalie says, it's not perfect, but it's not bad either. All things are working out for me, even with the attacks. The enemy tried it, but lost again. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Adrian says, after 21 days of prayer, I got stuck. I've relocated to a different city and had an interview this week. I love it. I love it. I love it. And got unstuck. I'm sorry. She got unstuck. I misread that. And so where are you now, Adrian? We want to know where you at. Congratulations on the relocation and the interview. Y'all love on her. Y'all need to be loving on your sisters. Love on them. Right? Congratulations on the relocate. Child, I'm trying to relocate. I'm trying to get out of here. I need to be somewhere where there is, like, in a minute's drive, I can get to a beach and some water, like literally. And I need sun every day. Can I be honest with y'all? Montgomery, Alabama. I love it. Congratulations. I love it. I love it. I love it. Heather says, since 21 days of prayer, I feel like I had gotten stuck, but I'm hard on myself in general. So I usually have unrealistic expectations. So still learning to just trust and have faith. When I just relax, everything always works out. I've definitely had some challenges, but only myself holding me back in the long run. I'm getting better. I love that. And I love that you're granting yourself grace. I love that you recognize that as you, because sometimes we don't know it's us. We like, child, I don't know what's going on. I just feel like something keep holding me back, and the something is like, honey, is you. And so I love that you can recognize that, like, you just have to grant yourself grace in this new season. Because sometimes one of the things that I'm learning is that when we're learning a new thing and when we're in a new season, it takes time to learn. It's like anything, like riding a bike, learning to walk. Like we remember with our children, and if we don't have children, our nieces and nephews was learning how to walk, child, when they was getting up and falling down and getting up and falling down and getting up and falling down. And we was, nervous, like, oh goodness, but it takes time. And so I think that with everything, including Heather, but including everybody else, I should say, like, grant yourself grace when you're stepping out and stepping into a new thing, right? Because if we remember, and I'm gonna go through some of these. I'm gonna try to go through and look at some of the notes from each of the days. But I remember specifically one of the days, it's like when you're in a space, like you may, when you're stepping into something new, like you got to make sure that you've got the right people and the right support to help you, because if not, then you'll go back to what was, because it doesn't look like where you came from. And that may not necessarily be for Heather, but in particular, we want to be careful, because we'll go into a new thing thinking it's just like the old, and it's is you literally, you got a new you're rewiring and reframing how you see things, how you think about things, how you talk, how you move. And so because it's different, right? And sometimes you jump right into it thinking like, oh, I got this, but the new you that is being developed and the new season that you're walking into, your old you is not yet familiar with it. I know that's a word. That was a word for me, honey, right? um Let's see. Nakia says, congratulations on your relocation. I left my hometown in August 2020, and it literally has been life changing for me. Let's see. Who was that? That wasn't Nakia. That was Tamala. Yes. Natalie says 2 more years. And she said, I'm out here. I know that's right. Child, unless if God don't say otherwise, we be gone in 2 years when Dallas graduate from 8th grade. I'm giving till 8th grade, child. We got 7th grade and 8th grade, honey. I'm like, Lord, need clarity. Where we going? Father God, in the name of Jesus, where we going? Let it be real hot. Listen. Yes. So, all right. So let's kind of walk through any other things, like what were some things that resonated with you. I'm just kind of going to go through some of the days. I know, like, we talked about like the so what do you guys remember? Let me see, somebody just has something here. Who's this? Naisha has said, I've had, oh, yes, you have, honey. She said, I've had a speaking engagement every month since 21 days of prayer. Much clarity, tied up with the annual budget on the job, but ready for more forward movement for me after my budget board meeting on Monday. But lots of clarity through action. Grateful for the clarity. Yes. Love that. Come through clarity, come through action, come through execution, come through peace. Yes. And it's like, if I could tell your business, Naisha, it's been like opportunities that she has not sought out, right? Like God has literally just been dropping stuff. And so I love how God is working and moving and all that kind of stuff. I won't tell no more of your business. But yes, Nakia, child, I'm trying to listen. 8th grade, I'm like, Lord, I need clarity. If it's in your will, I'm trying to be Audi 5000 G, capital G. So yes, so I love that. All right, so I don't know where my notes are from days 1 and 2, and I know I took them, but they're not in this journal, and I'm not gonna look for them. But so let's talk a little bit about what are your, I was stuck on Charlotte, but I think Dallas is where he wants me. Okay. Let's see, who's that talking? That's Natalie. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To be honest, I'm open to wherever, like I had to be open to wherever he wants me to go. Like I'm not keen on moving to Florida, but I just because of all the stuff that's happening with Florida, but I really want to be in Florida. Like I really feel like I could be in Tampa and I could be really like close to the water, close to the beach. It's hot all the time. I don't know, like I'm still like in prayer about because I don't really want to do hurricanes and tornadoes and stuff. Like I'm good with snow. Like I know snow. Child, and got my generator. I'm ready. You hear me? But I don't know. So let's talk a little bit about your takeaways. Like what are some things that you distinctively, if you don't have your notebooks with you and your journals with you, what do you distinctively remember God saying to you or saying in general during 21 days of prayer? And so I'll start with a couple of them. I know specifically God talked to me about fear and the fact that if we, right, didn't handle that fear, we would not be able to go full throttle. That was a big thing in day one, right? Being able to identify it, being able to overcome it, being able to move despite it was a big thing. And I've had to remind myself of that multiple times, y'all, just from day one. Natalie had Juanita says, I'm feeling the release but need clarity. Okay. Natalie says, I'm worthy, I'm loved, and I am safe. I love that. What are some of your other distinct takeaways that you remember from 21 days of prayer? My takeaway for me was being a beneficiary and a benefactor for the kingdom. Ooh, wasn't that good? That was day 17, I think, or 16 with Apostle Jeanette. Child was good. That was a good one. Good. Any other takeaways? Natasha talked about, well, I remember Deneen talking about cleaning our engine, making sure that everything within us, like within the throttle, was clean, right? That was a big one. Natasha talked about one of the things that I loved about her thing was is we give meaning to our thoughts and our feelings, and that we are thinkers of thoughts and feelers of feelings, right? And so we are not our thoughts and we are not our feelings. And so I've had to remind myself of that as well, right? I am not my thoughts. I am not my feelings. I've even had to remind myself, and I'm not sure if this is just something that I've always had to do pre and post 21 days of prayer, is to also remind myself that I am not my current situation, right? Like, even though I'm in it, I am not it, right? Even though maybe it didn't work out, I'm not a failure. That has been big for me because I'm trying new things. I'm enlarging my territory. And so I can get a little sensitive about my stuff. And then God is be like, child, you just started, like, chill out. Okay. Let's see here. My biggest takeaway, let's see, that was Daisha says, was who hindered me. And now I am intentional in making sure it's not me who is hindering me. Child, listen, because we be the one, right? It's like that TikTok to say, am I the drama? I'm not the drama. Could I be the child? We the drama. We are the drama. We are it, right? And so I love that you're intentional about that. Love. Joy says, overall, God spoke to me about procrastination. In keeping with the car thing, God said I needed a new starter. Ooh. Come on. That made me do a little shimmy. You need a new starter. You need to listen. You got to stop stalling. You got to listen. You got to push forward. Get that new starter. So as soon as you turn that ignition, vroom, right? I love it. Love it. Natalie says, I'm wealthy. My ideas aren't crazy, and God will bless them as I go after them. Yes. Who needs? Okay, so are these reminders helping y'all? Are these reminders getting you excited again? Because they get me excited again. I love it. Yes. Janaya says, trust the process, even though we can't see where we're going. God knows. Yes. Right. And then I'm going to add an addendum to that. I shared that here and on my Facebook group earlier this week. My Facebook page. not only trust the process, and I think also trust the God in the process, but also trust yourself to do the work in the process, right? Don't just assume that the process, I'm trusting the process as if the process is going to do the work for you. There is a work that's required for us to do, y'all. And so we cannot see it, but as God is doing his part, you do your part, right? Let's see who this is saying, watch my thoughts. Natalie is saying, watch my thoughts. Adrian is saying, my takeaway is being aware of what resistance look like and sounds like. Yeah, that was a good one too. And to watch my thoughts was important as well, because child, right? We are not thinkers of, we are thinkers of thoughts and feelers of feelings. We are not our thoughts, right? Ms. D says, in order to receive what you've been seeking for, you have to position yourself by making a small step forward out of your comfort zone. Yes. You can't get there staying where you are, honey. You gotta make some moves. You got to make some moves. You heard? Natalie said, check your oil. Check all the things, honey. Check your oil, your catalytic converter. Make sure all the pieces, make sure you oiled up. Make sure all the pieces is working. Make sure nothing is rusted, right? Love, love, love. No stop and go, just go, right? Like, don't, like, no back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We not stalling. We just gotta go. Adrian says, let go old hurtful things and trust me. That's good, 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 good. Woo! Yes. So let me see what I got in my notes here, because I got my journal here. Rest, obey, and listen. That was from Natasha on day 3. Y'all keep them going. If you got to go back to your journal, go back to your journal. But what else resonated with you for 21 days of prayer? Let me see here. Oh, we had a whole lot with Demita. Demita on day, who was day 3? Kelly was day 3. No, Kelly wasn't day 3. Who was day 3? Oh, this was Natasha's day 3 still. The throttle controls the flow of air based. Oh, she talked about God controls the flow of air based on acceleration. God has full power, full access to all of the resources. The enemy has no power. Whew, goodness, that was good. That was good. Be careful of what comes out your mouth. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Stop talking crazy. Let's see. Oh, yes. That was a good one. Esther, her, establish her. Woo, what day was that from? Who gave that? That was Carlette. I think it was. Let me see. What day was Carlette? I think that was Carlette. Child, that one right there. I just was like, did you just have to do all of that? Let me see here. I think that was that was Carlette. Yep. His confirmation and his calling, right? We go from obscurity to stealth mode to full throttle. Yes, yes, and yes. That was day 10. Day 10. So good. Day 4, Danita talked about waiting on God, working with what's in your hand. How good is that? She talked about watching what you say and warring off sabotaging spirits, right? Stop being your worst enemy. Kelly took us on a whole field trip on the different types of cars, and basically knowing what kind of car you are and what you basically knowing how to drive the vehicle, knowing what vehicle to drive during the season that you're in. Listen, it's important for us to point out the highlights in our sisters. Who are you? Why were you built? How were you called to function? What course, terrain, tires, equipment do you need? Is your engine in the front or the back? Are you 4-wheel, front wheel? Honey, she broke it all the way down. You hear me? That's good. That's good. That's good. Dr. Tyra, she took us on, y'all remember the relay race? And she talked about the first leg, the second leg, the third leg, and the fourth leg. And that was huge for me because as I ran track and I did the relay race, I ran the 1, the 2, and the 400. And I don't know if I did the 400 relay, but I always did the 100 and the 200 relay. and just understanding that like the coach was setting apart based on the gifts that he has given to us, which is God, right? And so depending upon where you are, and you're always wondering like, okay, like, well, why am I here? And it's like, well, because like at the end of the day, he knows exactly what position to put you in, right? That was really, really, really good. Day 7 was Rashawn. And she talked about do not be afraid. If you wait until you are no longer afraid, you'll never do it. She talked about the power of Jabez and hope, courage, and the power of prayer. And inserting your name and God grant and in the prayer itself, and asking God to grant you what you request. The power and the simplicity in prayer, and asking God to give you more influence and power. And then also around this idea that the scars are part of the process, right? Miss D said, recognize when you self-sabotage, stop talking yourself out of progress. Yes, yes, yes. Adrian says day 2, lack of ooh, yes. I need them notes. I wrote them notes down somewhere. Lack of fuel, lack of airflow, lack of ignition causes stagnation, right? Ooh, goodness. So good, so good, so good. Child. Honey. Deanna talked about providence, that God is working through your waiting, timely preparation for future eventualities, for future things to come, to affirm that we are dope, right? In my season of full throttle, I'm still not going to stall. I'm not going to stall in my season of waiting. I'm still dope. The reason that you're stalling, you've forgotten how dope you really are. Woo, goodness. That was day 8. Day 9 was Teresa Renee. And she talked about stop stalling, stop putting everything else in front of what God has already mapped out. Y'all remember the story that she shared with her son? And it's so funny because I always laugh because I share the same thing. And even though I think her son is like 6 or 7 and mine is 11, it's the same thing, child. We be getting ready for bed, and we supposed to do our devotional, and then the prayer time. And child, he want to be talking about stories and all the things that don't have nothing to do with bedtime. He be stalling. And so she talked about, in what ways are we putting everything, ahead of what God has given us to do. And so we've got to stop doing that. Obedience is better than sacrifice. You can be doing the right thing, but not at the right time. There's a good thing versus a God thing. Full obedience versus partial obedience. It's time to pack light. You've stopped and stalled because of overload. How many of y'all need to be packing light for where you're going, right? How many of you are feeling heavy and weighted? Like are there some things that you need to release in order for you to be able to be lighter for where you're going, right? What are your other takeaways? How y'all feeling? Like I feel like I'm feeling like just going through these, I'm feeling energized, for one, because we're in community, and 2, because we're talking about it. But how are you feeling kind of going back to that moment? I want to know while I'm looking at, she talked about the effects of unforgiveness and childhood wounds. It creates an emotional form of distress. It creates a hardened heart against God and people, and it causes high blood pressure. And that was still from Teresa Renee. So good. I can't share all of this, child. We just talked about Carlette in the Esther portion, going from obscurity to stealth to full throttle. She talked about the requirements of self-denial, acceptance of your assignment of what God has called you to do, having some decisiveness, no more going back and forth, courageous authenticity. Esther was authentic in what she was called to, and having some tact. A few other things. Yes, get rid of the extra baggage. We got to get rid of the extra baggage. Child, I could go through all of these. Oh goodness. This is so good. Is this good for y'all? Like, what are you, how are you feeling? I want to know. How are you feeling? I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling like I needed this conversation. Feeling like I want to go do something, even though I got to prepare for my message tomorrow. That's the thing I need to be doing. But how are you feeling? Like, over these last 90 days, what did you, she says, awake. This is good. and great reminders. They are, aren't they? So good, so good. It's so good. Like so good. And so I'll ask you this question. Like what, like I know like over the last 90 days, like stuff has happened or whatever, but what are you feeling the need to pick back up? Like what did you put down if you did, right? But I'm feeling like what did you put down, or at what point did you kind of get either a little discouraged, or did you forget the promises or whatever? But all of that, right? Tamla says she's feeling lifted and focused. I love it. I'm so glad I logged on to FP. That's Juanita. FB, I needed this decisiveness. Yes. Adrian says yes. Yeah. Yeah. Journaling and praying about everything. I'm getting back to both. I love that. That's Natalie. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. What do you feel like God is saying to you in this moment? I want to know that. What do you feel like God is saying to you in this moment? And don't overthink it. Like, don't be like, oh, I don't know. Like, if God is talking to me, right? Like, let's not over spiritualize it. Like, literally, in this moment, we've gone up to day 11, just kind of like reviewing some of the things. I didn't review everything because, child, it's too much. Well, I did the first 10 days, right? And so I'm going to go through the other, maybe try to break it down the next 10 and just snippets from them. But what do you feel just in listening? Do you feel prompted? Like, what do you feel like God is saying to you in this moment? Like, what is he reminding you of? What do you feel like you need to be doing? What do you feel like he's saying? I want you to put that in the comments. And I'm not going to respond for a moment because I just want to give everybody an opportunity to process and just respond. And then I'm going to share what people are saying. What do you feel like he's reminding you of? What do you feel like he's saying to you? What do you feel like he's revealing to you? And again, don't over spiritualize it. Just, what do you feel? Write it down. Mm. I see you all. I'm just waiting. I'm just giving you all time to, because I don't want you to get overwhelmed with everyone else responding. I just want you to sit in this moment. And what do you feel like God is saying to you in this moment? What is God saying to you? Specifically to you. What is he saying to you? What are you feeling? Get my journal. What is he saying? All right. So let's see here. All right. I'm still going to pause because I see y'all still responding. And I want to let this space before I start putting stuff up, because I don't want any of what God is saying to you to be tainted by what you see on the screen. What do you feel like he's saying? All right. Let's see here. Let me go back to the top. And those of you, as God is speaking, just drop it in. And here's the thing, even if you didn't participate in 21 days of prayer, or even if you did, just based around where you are right now, like, what do you feel like you need to be doing after this moment, right? What is he saying to you in this moment? All right. So I think I've noticed this. Natalie says journaling and praying about everything. I'm getting back to both. I put that there. I think that was Natalie as well. Let me just go back so I can look these names up. And needing community. I've had a lot of heartbreaks around people that I put myself in isolation. We all need people. That's good. Juanita says stop stalling. Adrian says stay the course. Let's see, who is that? Natalie saying, I feel God is saying don't settle anymore. Put in the work and watch me work. That's good, good, good. Tamla says it's time to execute on the next thing. I love it. Adrian says, trust me. He said that he's taking me to a next level, to a new level. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's see, who is this? That's Daisha. She's saying foot on the gas, pedal to the metal, stay consistent and true. That's good, good, good. Miss D saying, I know what to do. Trust God when it's time to make my move. I love it. I love it. I love it. Naisha is saying, filter out the junk and remember and operate with the words, declarations, promises, instructions that he gave me at the beginning of the year for 21 days of prayer. And at the very beginning, the harvest is plentiful and waiting on me. Go. Woo, child. It's go time, cuz God is telling me, I think that's Janiyah. God is telling me that he's got me. Juanita saying it's time to accelerate. I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'll let you know when I love it. So, having had an opportunity to see what God is speaking to everyone else, how are you feeling? Are you feeling, because sometimes we need to know that God is speaking to other people, and that what God is saying to other people is it either a reminder to us or a reminder that we're not the only one who has stalled 90 days in, right? So if you're feeling like, I'm glad I showed up because I was feeling like stalled and didn't really know like what this feeling was, just put a heart or something in the comments. You can say me, because I feel like sometimes, as Natalie said, we need community, and we needed this 90-day check-in, and I might do it in another 90 days. So 60 day, 6 months out from 21 days of prayer, and, where we are, and, what we're experiencing. And sometimes, and here's one of the things that I will share. Let me see. Naisha is saying, she says, some things I encounter are not to take me down another path, but to expose me to a tool or connection for the path I'm on. Consistency for the path. Oh, that's really good. Yes. And so that goes into us paying attention to like distractions, right? And so is this thing, what am I actually supposed to be learning about this thing? Like, am I supposed to be totally like shifting, not even shifting gears, but like rerouting myself? Or is this going to help me for the route that I'm already on? I love it. Yes, yes, yes. I see the responses. Yes, 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 please. Um, so yeah, so we'll definitely, I think, make sure we do a 6 month check-in and then a 9 month check-in. And then obviously in a year we'll be back for 21 days of prayer. But I think it's important for us to be in this space and to be reminded that we're not the only one, that like life is life in, people be people in, the world is world in, and we need to go back. And I'm just going to say this, and I said this in the very beginning. Hey Talia, how are you, love? I just see you pop in. And those of you who are continuing to pop in, if I haven't said hello and hey girl, hey, or good morning, because I didn't see you, hey girl, hey. But it's really important. And again, if you're not a part of the inner circle, which is fine, like there's no pressure there, because the inner circle is not just only about about 21 days of prayer, but you need access to this. Like you need to be in this space so that you can access these 21 days. Like this year and 2 years ago was powerful as well. You actually get access to that as well. But to be able to make time to listen and re-listen, and because sometimes you need to hear it multiple times. That's why it's important for us, like when it says meditate on the word day and night. God understood the importance of meditating on the word day and night. He understood the importance of saying a thing multiple times. Like repetition is a necessity, right? Consistency and repetition, like doing a thing, the same thing over and over again. And so sometimes you need to hear a word over and over again. And so there have been some words that have been spoken over me that I've been listening to over and over again, mainly because I need to be reminded and I need that thing to stick. And so don't take for granted like the experiences and the different things. So like if I do a Tuesday tea with D, or if I share a training and you get access to the training, don't just show up live to the training, but go back and watch it multiple times, because there will be things that you will miss. There will be nuggets that different depending upon the season that you're in. You're like, you know what? I need to go back to that. Right. I share this with my inner circle. I'm like, just because you're here live, and even if you're not live, like, and you watch it once, go back and watch it again. Like, we meet every 2 weeks or twice a month. And so in between that time, like when we're not meeting, you should be watching it again. Like you should be watching it multiple times that month, because that's the word that God has given for that month. And so this month we talked about identity. And so at any rate, I will say that, making sure that you go back to your notes, making sure that you rehearse, and maybe even coming back to this and looking at like the reminders, that God has given you, because it's necessary. You need those reminders. You need to be reminded like daily. I think this is why we get brand new mercies daily. Like we get daily bread. We get all of that. We get all of that. And so, yeah, so I want to kind of review a couple other things. I'm just trying to see let me see here. Oh, I remember this one with Marquisa. It was time to shake things up. And she talked about the women who went back to get the daughters who went back to get the inheritance, but supposed to. I saw an opportunity to make a request or a petition, to make a difference, to shake some things up, to make changes for those attached to them. The inheritance was supposed to go to his sons, but it didn't, right? They wanted it. And the reality is God said the claim is legitimate. And so there are some things, I needed to hear that. The claim is legitimate. And so there are some things that have never been done before that God is getting ready to legitimize specifically with you. It is not done. It has not been done in your lineage. It has not been done in your generation. There's some things that you're getting ready to ask for that God wants you to ask for, that literally like it's legal. It's legal for somebody to tell you no, but because it's you, God is going to legitimize it. Oh, goodness. That was day 11. And then we get to day 12 with leading my first lady, Latricia. I'm a woman who is willing and able to go the distance. And she talked about resistance. And she talked about like within a 21-day space, of the first is the induction where you're all excited the first week, and then the second week, which where we were literally closing out. We were in like that second week, which of resistance, which it will propel you to keep going, or it'll cause you to make a decision to go further, right? And she talked about certain things as it relates to resistance, a lack of motivation, competing priorities, demanding the attention of your life, certain distractions, waiting for God to answer, fear of failure, all kinds of stuff, right? And so, she says the enemy cannot catch you off guard again. Will you, in the middle of the journey, stand firm? You are stronger than you have ever been, child. Listen, you have kingdom authority in your mouth. Honey, listen. Be patient with yourself. Now that I'm free, bondage is no longer an option. Setbacks are expected. They are part of the journey. Love, love, love that. And then day 13 was Rashonda, my sis Rashonda. And she says, there is a season of time where you being stalled and stuck was necessary, but you were only meant to be there for a moment. This is your training ground. What do you do when God says no? You've done the work, you've got the training. It's time to get out the mud and stop stalling. If you move your feet, speak. Every assignment has a Judas. Woo! And she talked about the throttle being a windpipe. It regulates the amount of air in the engine. Your mouth is what's going to get you unstuck and set you back in position. You can shape your world by the words that come out of your mouth. Honey, honey, honey. That was day 13. There's so much more in here. God is giving you an invitation to speak words of life. I love it. The fight is about getting you out of position. Child. Okay, we could be here all day. I'm not even going to, but the one thing that I will close with is with Dr. Nadia on day 21. Let me just go through and look, y'all. Like, it's so much in here. There's so much in here. I can't. Like, I can't. There's so much. Yeah, there's so much here. I'm not even. Then day 15 with Dr. Shanae when she talked. Y'all remember about the bread and the dough? It's so good. Okay, it's 11:30. I'm gonna let us go here, but I do want to close out with the instructions that Dr. Nadia gave us around, and it was a few instructions that she gave us that sometimes you got to be rebellious to survive. As princess warriors are brave. Believe who God says you are. Trust that he means it. The enemy no longer has rights or authority. We have to walk in the authority that God has given you. The enemy's right has been severed, but you must move and walk in authority. Not everyone can go full throttle with you. You have to be okay with everyone not being able to go. Get your daily instructions from the Lord before going full throttle. Pause, get quiet, get your instructions, check in with him first. Be strong and very courageous. What God did for your ancestors, he will do for you. He has already personally gone before you. Don't pay attention to what you see. We must pay attention to what God says. Just after midnight, a suddenly happened. Worship is your weapon. God doesn't want doubt to take you out. Honey, 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 honey. So good, so good, so good. Y'all know I went back to day 20 with Naisha and that catalytic converter. When it's clogged, it causes internal and external. It causes the internal and external environment to not work fully. It's time to take off. It takes in the exhaust gas and the filters. It filters out harmful chemicals. It converts them to safe gases. And when it isn't able to do that, it affects how we perform. Child. We are stuck because the catalytic converter isn't working properly. Honey, okay. Good, 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 googaloo. Child, unexpressed emotions cause us to take action. We have to revisit that space and trauma. We have revelation, but not redemption, still operating in a place where something has still been taken from us. Child, we're hustling, but no healing. Child. Okay. Child. All right. How y'all feeling? Y'all quiet. Y'all, how y'all feeling? I like I said, I could literally sit here for another 30 minutes, but I'm not. I'm going to log off. But I really wanted to do a check-in with you, a checkup from the neck up, and just to, sometimes we need that reminder. Like we just need the reminder, that it's time to stop stalling, right? Feeling good. I know that's right. And so, I just, again, I wanted to check in. I wanted to make sure we're good. And, one of the things that I want to do more of is going live, in the Facebook group. I may include YouTube just because I know some of you are not on Facebook. But what I will say is if you're not part of the inner circle, make sure you're, if you want to join, I will put this I'll put it up here because honey, listen, one of the things that you will know about me is I'm learning that and my coaches have been talking to me about this is that, if you have something that can help people, you're doing them a disservice by not offering it. And so if you want access to the inner circle, it's $47 a month. Those who are here can tell you about the inner circle. And they can tell you that it's worth the investment. It's $47 a month or $470 for the year. And so I will put that there. And then also I'm having my thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I did a little something different with her. A little something, child. Well. But Natalie said y'all better get y'all life and join. Yeah. So I would invite you to join. And like I said, we meet every second and fourth Tuesday. And here's the thing. It's okay if you can't join live. You can still get your life through the videos, right? You can still get, what you need through the videos. And I am looking to I feel like I froze on Facebook or YouTube. I think it was YouTube. I want to just make sure that you're getting what you need, but I also am making sure that there are opportunities for me to personally touch those in my incubator. And then like here, if we meet like on maybe a monthly or quarterly basis, I want to make sure that I'm like touching you and connecting with you. Natalie said, y'all better get y'all one of these. It's an inner circle. That is so funny, child. You almost got me over here choking. But yeah, so that's that. And then I'm also hosting the pause masterclass. And so again, if you are in a space where you need to kind of revisit what that looks like, and especially in this season of full throttle, you're going to have to be intentional with your pauses. You're going to have to be intentional with your quiet time. You're going to have to be intentional with what rest and resetting looks like for you. One of the things that God started to reveal to me over these last couple of days is that like when you are in a new season, when like where you are and what you are doing is totally different, you need a pause. And when you are not trained and it's not been modeled and you're not kind of like equipped to like to manage that, like, and I talk about this a lot, like quiet time and rest and reflection and think time was not modeled to me ever, right? I don't remember it. And so it's important for me to be able to teach it. It's important for me to live it, because even in this season that I'm in, God revealed that where you are is totally different than where you've ever been. And so how you move has to be different. That's a word for somebody. And so I want you to, register for the masterclass because, I want you there. And also because, in this season, I want you also to get intentional about what it looks like to invest in yourself. Everything and everywhere that you're going is required investment. And I'm always going to talk about that because you have to get out of this mindset of expecting everything to be free, because it's not. And to some extent, um, you shouldn't want everything to be free. Like there's some things that shouldn't be free access, right? And so that, it may be 47, it may be 97, it may be 4,500. Like it all depends on what it is. But be in a space of where you can you'll commit to, if only thing you can afford right now is, $47, then commit to investing at the $47 level and ask God to enlarge your territory. So at some point you can then invest at the $470 level. And then once you invest at the $470 level, ask God to increase you at the $4,700 level, right? And then maybe you'll be at the $47,000 level, right? And this is not just in regards to coaching and courses and all of that, but we can't be out here being kingdom beneficiaries and benefactors and have a poverty and cheap mindset. Oh, well, I don't know about that. If we serve a God who the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein, that we and our identity is connected to that. Our identity is and our identity is connected to the Father who has all things, then our mindset has to be connected to our identity, right? We can't be trying to live a certain way and not thinking a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And so I want us to get out of that. And so you're going to see me talk about it. And has absolutely nothing to do about the money. It has everything to do with what we can do with the money and the resources. And there's some things that you are not going to learn on your own. There are some things that you just don't know, and you need to be able to pay to play. You need to be able to pay to get into spaces. And so this is not just about the Pause Masterclass. This is not just about the inner circle. This is about your life. This is about your destiny. And this is about certain places and spaces that you want to go. And so if you're not willing to make an investment at the $47 and the $97 level, how are you going to be able to write $1,000 and $10,000 checks to be able to fund programs when you act funny about money? Ask me how I know, because I had to deal with it myself. And why? Because these are not conversations that we're having regularly at the dinner table, that we're not regularly having, in classes, that we're not regularly having in the pulpit around what it looks like to be able to invest, what it looks like where we're saying, well, how come the churches ain't doing it? Or how come we don't see kingdom people doing X, Y, Z? Because specifically, we're not in spaces where people are talking about it. And so if you can't say you believe God for exceeding abundantly, but you only want to pay $25 for it, or you want to get it free. And can I tell you that one of the things that I've learned is people who pay attention. The higher the level, the more intentional, invested a person is. And so this is not about me. This is about you and specifically you investing in the areas of your life that are going to cause you to show up, and they're going to cause you to go full throttle. Period. And so you're going to hear me talk about it. You're going to hear me offer. You're going to hear me put things out there. Why? Because it's necessary for your growth. It's necessary for your expansion. And more importantly, why spend 6 months Googling on YouTube, which you can pay somebody $97 to help you and give you the tools to do it. And all you got to do is do it. Right? So, y'all quiet, and that's okay. You go ahead and be quiet. But what I'm going to say is I think it's important for you to be in a space where you have people who are talking about things that most people are not talking about. Right? And most recently, I've been seeing lots of people talking about the investment in personal development, because you can build a business all you want, but if you're broken and you lead from a mindset of trauma and your mindset sucks and how you look at things sucks, your business is going to be a reflection of who you are as a person. Can I get an amen? Are y'all with me? Did y'all go to sleep on me? I'm just trying to say, can listen. So that's that. But plan to join me on Monday for the Pause Masterclass. It's like I said, it's $97. It's 7 p.m. If you can't make it live, you'll get access to the replay. And then also, if you are not a part of the inner circle, I want to invite you to be part of the inner circle. That's $47 a month or $470 for the year. And we actually, next Tuesday we're going to be coming together for our co-working session. And so you'll get a chance to join us for that. But I just like full throttle. It means full throttle in every area. It's full throttle in every area. And so be in a space where if God is blessing you, ask God to also give you the tools to be able to steward it and take care of it. Right. And so, you get to a point of where, you go from making, 20,000 to 40,000 to 60,000 to 80,000 to 100,000 to 250,000 to 500,000 to 750,000 to a million. Like, and let me just tell you that who you are at each level is a different person. Right? Who you are at each level is a different person. There's a different mindset. You look at things from a different vantage point. And so ask God to be also in this full throttle season to prepare you to make the investments, but not only to make the investments, but step into that. And I've shared this multiple times with some of the women in my tribe, is really asking God, like, who is the woman that you need to be to step into to be full throttle? Right? We want to go full throttle, but are you who she needs to be? Not do, but are you who she needs to be so that you can do? And you should always be in a space of reflecting that. And if you're not, that's okay, because it's a process. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, and there are people here who took the quiet time training, the pause training that I did in March. And so some of you who were here, child, tell them that they need to register. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you all go because I'm gonna get on with my day. I have to prepare to preach tomorrow. I will put the inner circle link in here as well so that you can have access to that. I will put that on YouTube, and I will put it on. I'll put this here, and I'll put it also on YouTube. But again, we just have to. Let me see here. We got to do better at making sure that we're doing the work. Okay. Making sure that we are doing the work. Let me see here. So before we go, any last words? How are you feeling? Would you like me to do this more often? Where we can connect maybe like on a Saturday morning before you get on with your day? Very good. Yes. Feeling refreshed. I love it. Yes, we should do this every 3 months. I love it. Okay. Kind of like a quarterly check-in. Yes, please and thank you. I love it. Okay. Okay. So yeah, so we can do a quarterly check-in, and probably in between that time, I'll probably pop in and do some check-ins as well. But I definitely will make sure that we're doing our quarterly check-in, and yes, that will be good. Okay. So yeah. So again, if you're not part of the inner circle, join the inner circle. If you've not registered for the Pause Masterclass, register for the Pause Masterclass. It's Monday, April 24th, 7 p.m. It's a 90-minute masterclass. And also make sure when I'm sharing like your like on Saturdays when we do our win, make sure you are sharing your wins for the week now that you all have had an opportunity to experience that. And even on Mondays when I'm asking, what are you doing for you? Like those are intentional things. Like I am literally reframing and rewiring you to start considering you because you don't. Okay. So make sure you're checking in, you know, in the Facebook group. Those of you who are on YouTube and you're not on Facebook, it's okay, but that's just something that I'm doing there. And I think that's it. And so it says, great, Tony to tire. Yes, do this again. I love it. So yeah, so like, oh, and then so for those of you who are available tomorrow at 2 p.m., preaching at my church in Walden Galleria on the lower level. If you enter at the PF Chains entrance and walk straight, you'll walk right into it. My church is called Impacting Love Global Ministries. I love to see you and hug your neck, and just come and fellowship with us. And if not, I believe that it will be streaming. So I'll try to share the stream in the group for those of you who are out of town. And other than that, you all have a fabulous day today. It just started raining here. So I'm going to actually make me some more tea and I'm going to get to studying for tomorrow's message. So I'll talk to you all later. I love y'all. And this was good catching up for our 21 days of prayer post 90-day check-in. Get your check-in from the neck in, right? Check up from the neck up. All right. I love y'all. See you later.